Hi, today we're going to learn about Transfer of Property Act 1882, right? So before this act in India, there was no act relating to transfer of property. So let's just say if there is a fight between buyer of the property and seller of the property, and then if they go to the court does not have any act. So what they were doing at that point of time is they were they were ruling based on the rule of justice, equity and good conscience. Since there is no act, whatever the judge think it's fair, that will be the judgment, right? But to get a clarity, then again they have introduced the Transfer of Property Act 1882. Now we need to discuss, before learning the act, we need to know the some particular definitions, right? So we need to know what is exactly what they meant transfer, right? The transfer, what is considered as a transfer, what is considered as a not transfer. Properties, what is property, okay? What kind of properties will be covered in the Transfer of Property Act and what is not covered in the Transfer of Property Act. We have to learn in this definitions first, then only we can learn about the act. Okay, so first we learn about the transfer. If the transfer can be happen in two ways, okay, all right. So transfer, if the transfer happen, just a minute, yeah, because of the operation of law, that means automatically it will happen due to the operation of the law. For example, interstate succession. What does it mean? Let's just say there is a father, A is a father and B is a son. If father dies, automatically B will get the property, right? There is no action involved by the parties. A didn't transfer the properties. A didn't act, right? But the property is automatically transferred because of the law. Because of the operation of law. Let's just say, and insolvency. So let's just say again, A took loans and if we can't able to pay, if we become insolvent, whatever the assets held by the A will automatically transfer the loans, right? Will automatically transfer to the creditors who gave loan to them. That is also law. A is not transferring his assets, they will automatically take his assets because that is the law. So if any transfer happen because of the operation of law instead of action of the parties, okay, operation of law, then we won't consider that. So we don't deal with this in Transfer of Property Act. We don't deal with if the transfer happens because of the operation of law. Like example is insolvency and interstate succession, which we discuss now. If the father dies, the property will automatically go to the son without involving the any parties, buyer of the property or seller of the property, and then by the act of the parties. So here, let's just say this time, father actually transferred the property to the son by will. You know will is, right? What will is? Yeah. So father actually transferred property to the son. Here father is acting. It is not the operation of the law. It is not because of the operation of law. It is because of the act of the parties. But still it won't be considered under the Transfer of Property Act because it is testimoniatory. testamentary, right? So why we don't consider this? It is transfer by will, and there is a separate act for this, Succession Act, Indian Succession Act, which will be covered by this. So if anything transferred by will, right, even though it is act of the parties, it will not be considered here. Then what we consider is, if the transfer happened between two persons, and those persons should be living persons, right, inter vivos, we call them as inter vivos, between the two living persons. Let's just say transfer happened between Tata company and Infosys company. It will not dealt under the Transfer of Property Act, because those are not living persons. The transfer happened between Raj and Sam. These two people are living person. If there is any transfer happen between two persons, we will consider. So this will be covered under the Transfer of Property Act, right? Okay. So now we discussed what is which transfer we will be considered, which transfer we won't consider. So we will consider only if it is act of the parties, if the transfer is because of the act of the parties, and that should be, those parties should be living persons, then only it will be considered. If it is operation of law, we won't consider, and if it is testamentary transfer by will, we won't consider. We discussed now about the transfer. Now we have to discuss about what property. There is a transfer, right? What they are transferring, what kind of property they are transferring, we need to learn that now. Okay, so the transfer of property, that property may be movable or it may be immovable. Both will be considered here, right? It doesn't matter whether it is a movable property or immovable property. So special transfer of immovable property. If it is a sale, it will come under Transfer of Property Act. Leases come under this act. Mortgages will come under this act. Exchanges will come under this act. Gifts, and finally actionable claims. What is actionable claims? So for example, unsecured debts. Unsecured debts. Those are actionable claims. Let's just say you you gave a loan to somebody, right, and they are not paying the money back to you. If you want to claim that, first of all you have to go to the court, right? So that is actionable claim. So there should be some action to claim the money. And why they will transfer the actionable claims? So it will work like this. Just a minute, let me, yeah, let's just say there is Axis Bank. Axis Bank gave loan to Raj, 5 lakhs. Axis Bank gave loan to Raj for 5 lakhs, but the Raj is not paying the money, right? Axis Bank is unable to recover the money. So that's why they will sell this to some recovery agency. Recovery agency for 3 lakhs only. They will sell that loan for 3 lakhs only. So Axis Bank will get 3 lakhs, then remaining 2 lakhs it will be considered as a bad debt, then done with the Axis Bank. Then this recovery agency will try to recover the entire money from Raj. If the Raj still doesn't give, the recovery agency will go to the court and will do all sort of things to recover the money, right? So what Axis Bank did here, it sold actionable claims to the, right, it sold the actionable claims to the recovery agency. That is, that transfer also will be covered under the Transfer of Property Act. So Axis Bank transferred this loan to recovery agency. That nothing but Axis Bank transferred actionable claims to recovery agency. Recovery agency has to do some action to claim that money. Alright, and also one more example is lottery. Even if you win a lottery and if they are not paying the money, you can go to the court and claim the money. That is also actionable claims. So all these will be covered under the transfer of immovable property. Transfer of Property Act, it will be covered. Now we have to know some definitions, which will be using these words frequently in the entire chapter. So you should know now. So first thing is instrument. Instrument means non-testamentary instruments. So if it is testimoniary, we already discussed, that is here. If it is testimoniary, we already discussed, it is transfer by will, which is not covered in the Transfer of Property Act. So it is covered only non-testimoniary instruments. And then immovable properties are attached to the earth. Okay, movable properties we know, which can be easily movable from one place to another place, and then the definitions, which we will see later. Anyway, it is not defined in this chapter. But what is immovable properties? So they will be keep on using the word attached to the earth. Immovable properties are attached to the earth. Now they are just explaining what is attachment to the earth. First thing is rooted in the earth. Rooted in the earth. What that means? Trees. So trees also immovable property. How? So it will work like this. For example, if you see this, this is rooted to the earth, right? So this tree is a immovable property, and they also given embedded in the earth. First of all, embedded word meaning means it is fixed or permanent, right? We will build walls or buildings. It is fixed to the earth, right? So for example, it will be like this. So here, this part is fixed to the earth. Embedded. Building is embedded, fixed to the earth. Now, then this part, it is not fixed to the earth, but it is attached to the embedded part. That means attached to the embedded part. Which is embedded part? Embedded part is this. This is embedded part, and this is attached to this, right? So this is also will be considered as attached to earth only, even though it is not attached to the earth, but it is attached to already embedded part, right? So that was in our ICSI book. They are trying to explain the third point, attached to what is so embedded for the permanent beneficial enjoyment of that which is attached. Okay, and then first rooted in the earth and embedded in the earth. Next one is the third point. So which is already embedded to the earth, then again they are attaching to that. Now we will learn about absolute interest. Absolute interest. So what does it mean? It means, let's just say if you are the owner of the property, you will have some rights. What are those rights means? One is right to own. Right to possession. Right to possession means keeping the asset with you, keeping the product with you. And then right to own, that you can, if you want to sell, you can sell to somebody. You can do whatever you want with the property because you are the owner of the property. Let's just say one example, you have bought a bike on loan from HDFC. Okay, let's just say the person named Raj bought a bike from HDFC. Now Raj can keep the bike, so that means he has a right to possession. Okay, but can Raj sell the bike? No, he cannot sell the bike until he clear the loan of HDFC, right? So that means HDFC has a right to own. Ownership is with the HDFC. He cannot sell the bike until he clear the loan with the HDFC. That means now Raj has no absolute interest. we can say that he has no absolute interest. See, if he has absolute interest, he can do whatever the he can do whatever you want with the bike, but he cannot sell the bike because he is not the owner of the bike. Ownership is with the HDFC. He can just keep the bike, he can use the bike. Okay. In one more way, in another way, let's just say he bought the bike by paying full cash, then he is the owner, he has absolute interest at that point of time. If he pay the full cash while buying the bike, then he is the owner, he can do whatever you want with the bike. So that's what it is. They are telling about the absolute interest. So in absolute interest, there has a right to own, and then there has a right to possession, right to do anything with the product. Then only we will call it as absolute interest. So if now if the Raj owns the product, if the Raj is the absolute owner, then if he transferred the bike to the Sam, then Sam will become the owner, then Sam will be having the absolute interest in the product, in the asset. Okay, so now there are two more words important you have to learn, is reversion and reminder, right? So what are these reversion and reminder is, okay, let's move to another page. Yeah, let's just say there is a given land for lease, a given land for lease to B for 5 years. So A is the owner, he has absolute interest, so he can do whatever he want with this his land because he is the owner. Now he gave a land to the B. B has a possession, B is using the land, so that's why he has a possession. But can B sell the land? No, he cannot sell the land because he is not the owner, he does not have absolute interest. He can use the land, but up to 5 years. After 5 years, he need to reverse the land to A. That is called reversion. So if A give land to B for lease for 5 years, B can use that land for 5 years. After 5 years, it is should be reversed to the A. Residue interest, whatever the interest left in the land, it will be reverted, I mean transferred back to the original owner, which is A. And then reminder. What is reminder? Let's just say A, or we will take another example. Husband transferred property to wife. Transferred property, let's just say transferred land for life. You wrote an agreement like this in the beginning, for life, and then afterwards it should be transferred back to son. So what does it mean? That means as long as wife lives, she can enjoy the land, she can have the property. As soon as she dies, whatever the remaining in the property, it will go back to the it will go to the automatically to the son. This is called a reminder, right? So in case of the reversion, it will go back to the original owner. In case of the reminder, it will go to the another person, right? Yeah. Okay, so when the owner of the person granted limited interest, so the wife here, wife for life, it has been transferred, right? So wife cannot sell the land. She can use the land, and as long as she lives. After she dies, it will go to the son. That's what they are telling here. When the owner of the grants limited interest in the favor of the another person. So owner is here husband. Husband transferred land to wife for her life. So he gave, owner gave, husband gave only limited interest. What that interest? She can enjoy the land, but apart from that, she cannot transfer the land to somebody, or she cannot sell the land. So because of that, so she has only limited interest, and then whatever the remaining, and gives the remaining to the others. In our case, it is son. Wife has a limited interest. That interest is she can use the property. After that, whatever the remaining in the property, it will be transferred back to the son, which is another person. Here it will be reverted back to the original owner. It will be here. It will go to the others. That is the difference between reversion and remainder. Okay. Now we'll discuss about vested interest and contingent interest. Vested interest and contingent interest. Here the vested, the word vested, you can use in two scenarios. One is vested in interest and vested in possession. Vested in interest means right to future possession. Vested in possession means right to present possession. So what is this? We will learn by example. So the same example which we have taken previously. Let's just say husband transferred property to wife for life. That means she can use the property as long as she lives, and then remainder goes to the son. After she dies, the remainder of property will goes to the son. This is the agreement. Now wife has vested in possession. Vested in possession. What is the definition according to our here? Vested in possession means right to present possession. I mean, in the present, she is enjoying the possession, right? That means she is enjoying the property. Vested in present possession. Then son has vested interest. Vested interest. Son will get, when the son will get the possession? In future, right? So if it is vested in interest, right to future possession. So here son will get the possession only if the wife dies. So he will get the possession in future. Obviously wife has to die at some point, a certain point of time, because death is certain. Everybody has to die at some point of time. So when the wife dies, the son will get the property. He will get the property not now. He will get the property in future. So if you get the property in future, we will call that as vested in interest. Okay, vested in interest. But if the wife didn't die now, I mean sorry, so far wife didn't yet die, so she has the vested in possession. Present, she can enjoy the property. So vested in possession means right to present possession. She has the possession in present. And then vested in interest means the possession will be with him in future. I hope you understood that. Now contingent interest. So contingent interest means right to enjoy the property will get only after fulfilling of certain condition. So that will be, let's just say yeah, A said that A will transfer the property, okay, only if B marries C. B marries C, right? So this is the condition. That means B will get the property only if B marries C. So if there is a condition, only on fulfillment of that condition, then only B will get property. So now B has contingent interest. It may happen, it may not happen. B may marry or may not marry, right? So B will get property only if he marries C. If there is any condition like that, then it will be contingent interest. So B can enjoy the property only after fulfilling the certain condition, which is marrying C. Now there is one more word, vested interest. Vested interest means, just we learned what is vested interest. Right to future possession, which son has vested interest, right, is transferable and heritable. What does it mean? So husband here transferred property for life, gave a property for life, and then remaining will go to the son. Now son has vested interest, and then wife has vested in possession, which we already learned that. Now let's just say son has transferred this interest to Raj. He does not have property now. Who? Son. Son does not have property now, but he will get the property in future. That property which he is going to get in future, he transferred now only to Raj. So what happened in this scenario? As soon as the wife dies, the property will automatically goes to the Raj. After the death of the wife, the property will go to the Raj. Generally, what should happen? As soon as the wife dies, the property should go to the son, but the son is transferred that interest to the Raj. So as soon as the wife dies, it will go to the Raj. But there are some scenarios we can make out of that. Scenario 1, wife died and Raj will get the property, which we have learned here. And the scenario 2, what if the son died, right? If the son died, same, Raj will get the property after the death of the wife. So here wife died and then Raj got the property. That is the scenario 1. But there is a scenario 2, in that wife is still alive. Let's just say this is 2015. Wife is still alive. Son transferred the property to the Raj. So when wife dies, Raj has to get the property. But here son died in 2015 only. Okay. Then still wife is alive. So Raj doesn't get property now. But in 2020, wife died. So then in 2020, Raj will get the property. So as soon as the wife dies, Raj will get the property. And then scenario 3, Raj died. Okay, now this guy died. Then it will go to his family. The property but wife is still alive, let's just say, and then but Raj died here, and then as soon as the wife dies, the property will go to his family because it is heritable. If any one person dies, then it will go to the remaining family. So vested interest is transferable and heritable. So these all scenarios will prove that these are heritable and transferable. But contingent interest is transferable but not heritable. So you can see the difference between vested interest and contingent interest. What we just learned now, transferable and heritable vested interest is. Contingent interest is transferable but not heritable. So here A transferred property to B only if the B marries to C, right? Let's just say before marrying C, B died. Okay, then it does not go to the same, no interest will not go to the B family. So this contract is automatically will get cancelled as soon as the B dies because it is not heritable. Then interest is vested when the transfer is completed. Interest is vested, the transfer is complete. So if in our example son transfer the property to Raj, right? He transferred what here? He transferred vested interest. As soon as he transferred the vested interest, the transfer is complete. But whereas in contingent interest, it will complete only after fulfillment of condition. I said that contingent interest also is transferable. Let's just say here A transferred to B property only if the B marries C, right? Now B transferred this property to D. He can do that. First he can marry the C and get the property from A, and then as soon as he receives the property from A, he can transfer back to D, right? After fulfillment of condition only the transfer is complete. But here as soon as he transfer the vested interest to Raj, the transfer is complete. The owner title is already perfect. So Raj has already got the perfect title. But whereas here it is imperfect. So his title will become perfect only after fulfillment of condition, which is marrying C. But sorry, here not Raj, here the son title is already perfect. Alright, in the next class we will discuss about movable property and immovable property.